Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back. And today we're going to be taking a quick look at the 2.0 mod update. As you can see, we have a Timberpro Bonanza in front of us, lots of different machines. So we're going to take a quick look at the new toys coming out in this update. And then there's a couple, not a crazy amount, but a couple little updates and fixes since the last update. I feel every update we're getting less and less like crazy changes to the machines and the attachments, just because we're getting closer to kind of a happy point. So yeah, no, so far so good. So let's take a look at these machines. So the very first one is the Timberpro TL745D. So this is their flagship machine from the D series. Timberpro is highly promoting this machine right now, and from what I'm hearing from reviews and people talking, it's a pretty amazing little machine. The biggest thing I think on it is having the kind of zero tail swing. As you can see, it's kind of a shorter cab machine, so you got a lot of room to swing around, especially when you're working, you know, really close in the bush around trees or in kind of weird spots. It's a lot of room to play around, so you're not have to worry about your tail butt hanging off and whacking into stuff. I think that's a pretty big selling point for a lot of buncher operators. The inside of the cab is also very like high visibility. You have a lot of open window space, a lot of visibility. Everything looks really good across the board. I think that's a big selling feature as well. Yeah, I don't know. On most bunchers, I mean, that's kind of what you look for. I can still see my tracks in this machine, which is actually super nice. And yeah, just sick visibility. So included also with that visibility is the new buncher head, so might as well hit that up while we're here. So this is the new Quadco buncher head. The Quadco buncher head is the 27SC, and this is a pretty awesome little buncher head. We've been using that Pro Pack one for a very long time. I know I've had lots of people asking about getting new buncher heads, but honestly, I just didn't have any other official relation to anyone who made buncher heads outside of Pro Pack. And now with the relationship built with Timberpro, we now have access to the Quadco stuff as well, which is pretty exciting. So you might be seeing some more Quadco style heads, Southstar, possibly Logmax. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's a beautiful little head, and it's a little bit different from the other one in terms of the position of the attachment. So the position of the attachment sits quite a bit higher up, while on the Pro Pack it's more kind of in the middle. So you're going to find that you're kind of higher up with your connection point, but honestly it still equates to a pretty good experience. So we're just going to hop in this guy. I'm going to go dump it in the bush here somewhere, and we'll just pick a spot and start cutting. Sure, why don't we do this? Oops, there we go. So again, like I said, because you have that attachment point a little bit higher up, it feels kind of weird, because it feels like your bottom is a lot lower, like you're cutting a lot lower, but it cuts almost identically to the other one. So let's make sure we got our ground chopping on here. Still got a good grip and awesome ability to chop and cut, and visibility is different on it. You'll notice the tongs, like your main claws there, the tongs, the main claws, it just feels different. I don't know how else to put it, but like a good different. It works really well. I've cut quite a bit with this guy, and so far it's been pretty awesome. And like I said, having this this cab gives you lots of visibility for cutting, so it's actually pretty sweet. We'll just grab a couple more here, and then we'll move on. Otherwise, I'll just get buncher crazy, and you'll lose me in the rest of the video. But as you can see, it works very efficiently. You can still bunch together quite a few trees. I'd say the capacity is very similar to the other Pro Pack head in terms of what it holds, but overall it's yeah, it's a wicked head, and I've been having a blast with it. A little bit tighter on the bottom for the cutting area here, but overall it is sweet. So I'm really excited for you to get that out to you guys and let you play with it. Have fun with your Quadco head and your new TL. So I'm gonna go back here. There we go. What do we got here? So now we got the TL765C. So this is an older one that we had back in FS, I want to say 17, maybe 19. I think it's when it might have come in. We had it in 19 for sure. It was a very big fan favorite, and I think a lot of people really loved it. So I had lots of requests for people saying, when are you going to bring back the Timberpro TL that you had before? And I was like, I don't know. But now that I'm in partnership with Timberpro, I asked them and I said, can I bring this one back? This is no longer in production anymore. They don't make this machine. They've moved to the D series machines because they're a little bit more superior, I think, in terms of the cab design and probably some other features, technical features. But they said, yeah, go ahead and bring it back. It does feature the old school Timberpro logo. They don't use that anymore. They now have the text logo like on the side here. But I did that just kind of as a fan favorite to keep the old school vibe for people who really like that. Inside of the cab's been redesigned a little bit. It's still, the visibility's a little tight in here because you got these side beams all over the place. I honestly prefer using the D-Series stuff when I'm cutting in first person, but it does have a really sweet, just overall look. I really do like the look of this machine. Again, it features all the cab tilting features, same as the D series one, and it's got a big old caboose on it there, so it's got quite a bit of tail swing in comparison. So if you're working in tighter areas, I would choose the D series version versus this one, but that's entirely up to you. Just gonna back this over here, but yeah, nope, still a beautiful machine, works super great. Again, you can attach whatever you want to it. You don't have to do a buncher. I've used it for processing. I've used it for I've thrown grapples on these things and thrown wood around, so you can do whatever you want. The other feature is the two new forwarders. Excuse me. So, two new forwarders. We have technically they're the exact same model. So they're the TF830D. This one is also the TF830D. The difference between them is the cab windows. So on the cab window on this one, you have the old school TF style, which is very similar to that 765C. It's a little more enclosed and a little bit harder to see out of from a first-person perspective. Then you have the new D-Series cabs, which are these really sexy open windows that you can see pretty much everything. Again, working from this view is super easy loading and unloading your forwarder. This one, again, it's a little tight. You get a lot of blocky kind of corners and stuff. But again, I know there's lots of fans that love this school look, the old school kind of look. So that's why we kept both the 765C and the old school body of the TF830D. Now, the previous forwarders that you guys had before were actually totally incorrect, and that was just me not knowing any better or looking into it. So we had a Timberpro forwarder previously. It actually had the 765C logo still on it, and that was all wrong and incorrect, which I kind of knew, but we never corrected because I didn't know if we were going to partner with Timberpro. So now we are partnered with Timberpro, and I have fixed all that. The bodies have been rebuilt, reshaped, redone, new textures, new everything. So this is nothing like the original bodies that were on these machines. I'm pretty sure the old forwarder used that body off the 765C that had been kind of shrunken down. So these are all new bodies, new shapes, new everything, and better cab design. But yeah, they all feature the exact same physics and dynamics of the last forwarder. So they load and unload the logs absolutely beautifully, just like the last version that we had. So you guys won't notice a big difference there at all. It'll be just like you're driving the old machines, but with better visibility. Right on. So yeah, that's the new Timberpro lineup. So again, big thank you to Timberpro and Quadco and everyone involved with that process. It's been a blast putting these machines together, and there's also some other Timberpro stuff that is in the works, as well as Quadco stuff. So in future updates, you guys will be seeing some of that coming out. Okay, so we're just going to do really quick patch notes, update changes here. There's not a lot. It's not a huge update in terms of changes. So one change that I did was improving the processor heads. I had a few complaints on the last update about the processor heads being a little bit weak in terms of the knives being too weak. I know I flimsied them down a little bit to make them a little bit less grabby so they wouldn't glitch out in multiplayer. So I've kind of found a balance between them. I'm just going to try to grab some of these trees down here. So now the actual weight of these heads has been reduced a little bit, so they fight with the trees a little bit more realistically. They also have, I just want to see if I'm on long logs here. No, I'm on 6 meters. they also have changed the rollers on them as well. So the rollers, we are really off balance here on this hill, but we're going to try to work with it. So the rollers grab a lot tighter. So we're talking like the roller arms down here. They grab a lot tighter, so they hang onto the logs a little bit better. You're going to find rolling and pulling logs out of the bush is going to be a little bit more effective. The knives themselves, so these back claws I'm wiggling here, they've been increased in weight, increased in their grip strength as well, and just kind of a general reweighting. I've done a reweight to all the machines so that they sit level. So what was happening before, I wonder if I can give you a good example here. So we're parked in like the most god-awful spot. You know what we're going to do? Hold on. I'm going to give you guys a good example. Let's go down to the mill here somewhere. Or what over here? Oops. I crashed into a building. That's what happens when you teleport. You never know what you're going to be trapped inside. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this spawning thingy here. 24 meter spruce. Is that... Sure, let's do a 24 meter spruce. That's a bit of a big... Okay, we're going to make a big pile here. Okay, so we have this big pile of trees we're going to use for an example. So we're going to cut these into 6 meter pieces. So when I say I went and rebalanced the heads, and I actually mean the actual weights, so the way that they sit, the way that they fall, the way that they swing, all of that has been redone in a more realistic way. So basically what's going on now is when you're cutting, just a sec here, if I can get it to cut here. Did we get it? There we go. What I changed was, so what would happen is as you're working the log out from the top to the bottom, is the problem was the processor head was a little bit too hefty, and because it's too hefty, the tips of the logs wouldn't drop down. It would stay pointed up all the time, which is not very realistic because a lot of the times the log will start to fall on this side as you move it forward, because obviously there's more weight of the log being put on this side than is left on the tail. So in this case, not to get too confusing here, if you're looking at this tree, this end of the tree is heavy, but not as heavy as how much is left on this end. So it should stay pointing up. As you work the tree down, it should fall down because the weight is more on the right than it is on the left. So actually, you know what? We could probably run it here. So if I just manually run it, so as we go, you see it starts to level out, starts to level out, starts to level out. That's kind of the purpose I'm going for, is that leveling out and dropping. So as I cut this tree, we'll just start mowing it down here. So we're going to cut a 6. And we're going to pull it ahead. We're going to cut another 6. As you can see, it's starting to tip. See, it's starting to tip down a bit because we actually have more mass on this side of the log than we do on this side with the tiny little top. And that's realistic. We get a real balance of that log. And that's a complaint that I've had from several real-life processor operators that have played with these mods. They said, you need to make it so that the log balance is better. So as I go, now there's a lot of weight on the left, so the head should fall right down. And again, now we're on the last little bit here. It just falls right down onto the spot. And before, because my processor heads were so heavy, what was happening is that head would stay pointed up all the time, no matter what, and it would never really drop down properly into the deck while you're cutting. So as I'm cutting, again, it stays to the right for the weight. And we cut, stays to the right, but now it's starting to balance out a little bit. It's starting to tip that way. Not crazy, but a little bit, because there's more weight. Now it should tip a lot more. And then the last one should just go right to the ground, basically. And that's a lot more realistic, apparently, in terms of how they process through. But as you can see, the grab arms work a lot more effectively. They have a lot more grip. They're a lot less flimsy. So those knives should be a lot more effective. And I've done this on all the processor heads, so that'll be a nice big change for everybody. So hopefully these processor heads are a lot better. Again, they're slightly lighter than they were before, so you'll even find a better balance when you're working with these machines. It won't be quite as aggressive. What else we got? The brush cutter. Do I have a brush cutter on this map? I don't think I do. No, I don't think I bought one. Anyway, the brush cutter, which is the this guy here. Where are you, brush cutter? This one. So this brush cutter that we used, it now has a better cut range on it. So when you're cutting up little bits of wood, little pieces, all that kind of stuff, it's got a lot more space, a lot more room to cut the trees. You'll find it's less of a challenge to get rid of like little bits and pieces, and it works pretty good. So this is the Pro Pack buncher head. So the ProPrac buncher head as well as the new Quadco both have the same new physics, the same new awesome stuff that this one has been updated with. So I've improved the grip and the collection of the bottom part of the claw, and I've also reduced the cut range just a teeny bit so that you're not whacking piles as much. You're still gonna whack piles a little bit, but it won't be as bad. So again, improve the grip. So when you're going to cut a big tree, it's got a way stronger primary grip and a way stronger secondary grip when you're gripping down on the bigger trees or even the piles. And lots of people said it was just a little too flimsy when you're trying to bunch like bigger trees, and it didn't feel like it was gripping down on them as good. So now you're gonna find when you're cutting large numbers of trees, if you get lots of big ones, it's gonna squeeze on them pretty darn tight, and you'll find that you're just in bunching in general just feel a lot easier. As you can see, I'm not really having to fight with the trees. The claws are a lot more weighty, a lot more grippy, so you can really just snap the trees into your head without having to fight with it, which is awesome. So here we go again. We're going to snip a couple more, and again, I don't want to do this all day because Jordan will get lost in it and you'll never see me again. There we go. Okay, so again, very good grip on them. I can manipulate the trees a lot better than the last update, which is fantastic. I think you guys just overall will enjoy the feel of this new style head. So that again has been applied to the Quadco buncher head as well, so they both have the same strength and beautiful good times. And that's pretty much it. The only other update was I fixed the exit point on the Cat 558 that somebody had reported, saying when you got out of the machine, you get stuck in the body occasionally. And I was able to reproduce that, and I fixed it. There might be other little fixes that I forgot to write down, because sometimes I'm working so much, I get home and then I see like a bug fix thing. I hop in, I just change it, and sometimes I forget to note it. So if there is other changes, it'll be just minor little, like, oh, you moved a logo 2 inches to the left or fixed a exhaust pipe or something, like stupid little stuff. But that's the only major stuff, is the processor, the buncher, and then all the new toys. Those are kind of the big thing. Yeah, so anyway, it's an exciting 2.0 update. I can't wait for you guys to be rocking the Timberpro stuff. Take lots of pictures, post them on Facebook, post them on the Discord. I love seeing your guys' little operations. It's freaking sweet. All right, guys, we will catch you on the next one. See ya.